Here's part two of our conversation with Jimmy Rankin. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Canada. By the way, when you did your first solo album, what was going through your mind? Okay, you've more than established yourself as the main songwriter of the Rankins and a great singer and well-known, world-renowned, especially in Canada. What was your feeling going into that first album?
Well, I released that one in 2001, and the Rankins disbanded in 1999. I wanted to make a solo record. I wanted to continue making music. I was by no means finished, and to me, I was just, I was in full swing. I made this record, and it was a collection of songs and ideas from, of working with the Rankins. Songs that I didn't think suited the Rankins, and then I wrote some new ones for that album, and it was just a record I wanted to make. I wanted it to be a bit grittier, and I wanted to use Hammond organ B3 and just a little bit rockier, and it turned out to be like an Americana folk rock record, roots rock record, and but it was just a lot of songs that I had written at that, leading up to that period of time that sort of I pulled together for this record. And I made it in Toronto with Tim Thorney at Tattoo Studios, I think it was called at the time. And I had a great team working on that record.
And Randy Cook was on there.
Randy Cook, yeah. Randy Cook played drums. There's a tune on there. There's in the middle of the record. There's like a maritime moment, I call it. There's like several songs that are very East Coast. There's Bouzouki and there's one called "We'll Carry On," and it's about fishing, the fishing industry. And I had this idea because I was a drummer. I've always loved drums, and I was thinking the bore on the Irish drum, and I was thinking Randy he was so good to play the drums. I said, Randy, here's the idea I have. He said, yeah, sure. So he just nailed it, and it's like big rock drums. It's exactly what I wanted and better. But so that's where that record came from. And there's like an acoustic song on there, which is totally me singing with an acoustic guitar, vocal and guitar, just live to track, that kind of thing. But that record. I'm really proud of that record. I had no idea how commercially viable it was at the time. I had people at the record company saying, "You're not going to sell 10 copies of that," and I said, "I don't give a shit. It's what I want to do." And that song, the lead off track is called "Followed Her Around." And I shot a video for that at an exotic dancing locale in Dartmouth across the water here. And but I just couldn't get it on AC radio, even though in Ottawa the AC guy said that song, when they played it in Ottawa, they said it was like the top song, one of the top songs requested that year. But radio can be very tough. So it went to country, and I lived on country after that. So
you always started your albums with a kick-ass song. Every album, like "Follow Her Around." I like the fact that after your son's following at the end of this song, it's kind of a cats in the cradle thing a little bit. I'm going,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I learned a lot when I was playing drums for my siblings. My sister Raylene was the lead vocalist, and so there was myself, John Morris, Raylene, my brother David played guitar at the time, and my sister Geraldine played piano. Eventually, Cookie joined the band after I did and started singing harmonies. But Raylene was, those dance halls were tough. You had to make people dance. They were like the old juke joints, and they were smoky. I loved them, but you had to entertain people. So what I learned for many years sitting back there playing the drums was watching Raylene, orchestrate a set list and how to get people to dance, and usually the night would start out with a kick-ass song, and I think that's the way the Rankins we always did our records that way. They started out with something up-tempo, and you just grab people out of the gate. And concerts were the same. And I still, when I go to concerts, it's hard for me to sit through a show that's a sleeper. my biggest fear is boring people, and some people don't care, and and they can sing slow songs all night, but I just can't do it.
There's something about the new one that I'm going, yeah. What was the feeling going back? You're coming back home, and
yeah, well, you're right. When I made that record, I was really just finding my way as a solo artist. It was my first solo record, and you have to remember that, you know, I'd spent 10 years working with a group with 4 other people, and everybody, you know, it was a communal, every record and every show and every tour was a communal decision-making thing.
Yeah, but let me interrupt you. But you were, I mean, I'm looking at that's your name up there too. I mean, you were creating a lot of these songs. I mean, they must
I had ideas, and sometimes I was very forceful about getting ideas on the record. I had, you know, for better or worse sometimes, but, you know, I was the primary songwriter, and I would come every record, I would come with a whole bunch of songs, and, you know, there was only so much space on a record, and I could get, I think maybe one album I had 4 or 5, 6 songs, I can't remember, but. And then we always included traditional music, but in any event, when I started making my solo, when I made Song Dog, I was like, okay, I have to figure out what my thing is and how I'm going to make it. And then it was at the end of the day, you know, I had a really good team with me, but making the record, but it was my decision at the end of it, what kind of record to make, and so. Fortunately, you know, I made a lot of great decisions. I had good people working with me, a great band, everything, and we really cared for that record. Every little, you know, thing was thought about every aspect of the record. And finally, when I made Moving East, you know, I was like, okay, I want to make this kind of roots rock record. And I was trying to think, I want it to be folky, I want it to represent this area that I grew up in. I don't really care if anybody else anywhere gets it. If I get it, that's the main thing. And I was trying to think of who I would get to produce it, who would understand, you know, the East Coast rather than like Appalachian or Irish. I wanted it to be East Coast, Maritimes, Canada, because we, as you know, we have our own way of thinking here and doing things, and I was pulling into my driveway one day in Cape Breton, my place up there, and a Joel Plaskett song came on the radio, and I was like, perfect, the light bulb went on. I'm going to call Joel, and because, you know, he makes acoustic records. His dad is a folk musician, but Joel's got his feet in rock and all different singer-songwriter. I called him up, and not too long after that we started making the record. And he got songs on there, like I threw stuff at him I didn't think he'd get. Like this song, it's like a very traditional sounding song called The Raleigh Man, and it's kind of a tongue twister kind of thing. And that was one of the songs he was like, yeah, I get it, and let's do that. And, you know, so it was a lot of fun making that record. I laughed a lot, and, you know, generally records, it's a kind of a mind thing. You go through them for a month or something, and you go through every kind of emotion. You're trying to get things right, and things don't turn out the way you want it. But this record, I was like, wow, I just loved every step of it, and it was just fun to make. It was loose. It features all East Coast artists, musicians, a lot of people I haven't worked with before, and people I had worked with, and everybody that came to the record, they just had such great energy and enthusiasm. It was just a lot of fun.
We'll have more from Jimmy Rankin coming up next week. Make sure you comment on our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Canada.